Glad to be here with you. It's Tego and Tracy and the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. All you have to do is pick up the phone, dial them direct today, 448-8888. That's 505-448-8888 or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. They're the best. They care, and they will find the best real estate for you. Tego and Tracy have been on the radio station now more than 8 years, and glad to have them on board. Tego and Tracy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy fall. It's beautiful out there, isn't it?
Boy, what a nice
Absolutely
weekend.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like warm temps. It's
Yep.
great.
So
Always
many
happy
good
to be
things
here.
happening in the market, too. I think, do we still have that upward pressure? We're going to, certainly talk about market stats. We're in the last couple of months, guys. And I got to say, it's pretty exciting, given where we thought we were going to be and where we are now. We just thought, the market's going to bottom out maybe 3 years ago with interest rates, 2 years. It just has never seemed to happen. And it just continued to get stronger and stronger. And you guys have adapted and responded. And that really is the name of the game.
It is. It really is. And that's a really, excellent way to put what's gone on in our real estate market. You think about the hiccup we had in March, April of 2020, and then ever since then it has just been gangbusters. And the thing is, we really have had a very steady real estate market in Albuquerque since about 2012 when you look at it from a pricing standpoint. Prices have been steadily increasing every year, year after year, year after year. And then this year and, last year we really had some really big gains in prices, obviously. And, it seems like we've hit a seasonal plateau. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about, but I personally believe it's seasonal. So
Yep, I agree. We're still seeing, Tego and Eddie, we're still seeing, multiple offers on nice properties. And, yesterday we put a house on the market in Rio Rancho at $200,000. Within minutes of it going into MLS as active, there were people there looking at that house.
yeah.
And same night, a couple of offers already. So, it may feel like, wow, it's going to shift, but really there's still a lot of really motivated buyers that are out looking for houses.
Let's set up the show for the week.
Yeah.
Tego, what do we have on deck for the week?
Well, we've got a couple questions that came up, one for buyers, one for sellers that we're going to address, having to do if you're a seller, if should be thinking about selling right now, and if you're a buyer. Something kind of little known about getting pre-approved versus pre-qualified and what that means to a buyer when you're out there and making you a strong buyer. Tracy, you wanted to talk about, some other things that are going on this time of year in particular.
Right. I want to talk about some of the things that the questions really about being on the market or looking for homes during the holidays. And also, we want to talk about careers in real estate.
Yes, careers in real estate. There's the big story out there, the Great Resignation, they're calling it, where, a lot of people have been changing jobs, deciding that, hey, maybe there's, a better opportunity out there. A lot of stories out there about that. And people that have been thinking about being self-employed, working for themselves. Real estate as a real estate agent is something people should at least consider, because it can be a really rewarding career. It's a lot of work, no doubt about that. Not going to hide that, right?
Right. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Question?
Well, actually, let's start off with, it is, November 6th. And
market stats.
We just finished a month, so we need to talk about market stats. And if you guys are hearing us this week and you're going, gosh, they sound strange. Both Tracy and I have a cold. So we're like, just what we need, a cold in the fall, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a tough time in the climate that we have to have a cold. It's obviously we're both here. Yeah. We don't have other symptoms. We just have a cold.
Just colds. Good old fashioned cold. Yep. No fun. All right. So let's talk about the market. October finished very strong in home sales. We had an increase in closed sales versus. I take that back. I'm sorry. We had actually a step down. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was thinking about prices. We had an increase or a decrease in the number of homes sold for October versus October last year. You got to put a big caveat on that one because comparing any real estate market data to 2020, especially the late in the year, is not a fair comparison because the third and fourth quarter of 2020 were just blockbuster sales.
Right. People were catching up from the early days of COVID when everything was shut down. We weren't even showing houses.
Yep.
We weren't touring houses. We didn't know what was going on. So when you look at second quarter last year of 2020 versus third quarter and fourth quarter, is significantly different than this year.
Just to put this in perspective, though, we had 1,250 homes sell in the metro Albuquerque area. That's a lot of homes changing hands, and so that's again, it's a very strong, steady, healthy market. And if you look at the pending sales, which these are the properties that will now close, these pending in October, meaning so now they're going to close probably November, maybe into December, right? And that was very strong. In fact, it was above 2020.
Right.
So there's still strong demand out there. There's still very limited supply out there. In fact, we just hit another low this week, and
of homes on the market.
Of the homes on the market.
Sale.
Yeah, actually, back in June, we had a really low number of homes on the market. It's come up a little bit since then, but now it started to tick back down again, which is not uncommon this time of year, Tracy, because of just the seasonality of the real estate market. People start thinking, well, the holidays are coming. I don't really want my home on the market. And, maybe there's no buyers out there right now and that. So I'm setting it up. I'm setting this up for the next conversation,
right,
which is, should I sell my home now? I mean, should I have my home on the market through the holidays? And what does that look like if I have my home on the market through the holidays?
So that was our question of the week.
Yeah.
Should I have my house on the market during November, December, the holiday season? And obviously we always say, well, what's going on that you want to sell your house?
Right.
First of all, right? Second of all, it's actually a really good time to have your home on the market because there's limited inventory, less homes competing for the buyers, which creates more demand for your home. But people say, we've got Thanksgiving, we've got Kwanzaa, we've got Hanukkah, we've got Christmas, and then it's New Year's, right? So there's lots of holidays coming up. So as a home seller, how you celebrate those things and how you decorate for them or how you entertain could make a difference for you. However, I would say if you need to sell your house or you're thinking of selling it now to March or something, yes, let's get it on the market, and your home get it marketed to the market and sell it. The time of year with buyers, we still have a lot of buyers. Like I said a minute ago, we're still seeing multiple offers on homes for sale. We're still seeing very strong offers. So if you can handle your home being on the market during the holiday season, yes, I would say let's put it on the market. The other thing about having your home on the market during the holidays is a lot of times people have time off work they don't normally have. Right now, I know I've seen it personally with a few very close friends. They have unused time off, vacation time, paid time off with their employers that they have to use up by the end of the year, and they're struggling right now to find days to take off.
Yeah.
But in addition, usually people have more time off work over these next few holidays. And so they have time to go look at houses. So it's good. As realtors for us, I know I was telling you, Tego, a few years ago on the eve of Thanksgiving.
I remember.
We had about 15 people scheduled to be, actually it was more like 18 people scheduled to be at our house for a Thanksgiving meal around noon on Thanksgiving. And all day the day before Thanksgiving, I was out showing houses instead of prepping my house and the food, because I kind of like to cook, so I don't let people bring a whole lot to the Thanksgiving table.
So that goes back to the whole careers in real estate conversation. But yeah. Anyway, yeah.
In any event, holidays can get really busy because people do have time off work to go and take a look.
The takeaway is if you've been thinking about selling your home and the timing is right for you, meaning like, okay, this is a good time of year for me to get it on the market and move on to whatever the next thing is that you've got going. There's really no reason not to have it on the market during the holidays.
Right. Another question that came in this week, with the market being strong for home sellers, should I spend time and energy staging my home for sale?
And?
Of course you should.
Yes.
You still want to net the most when you're selling your home, and making it as new home, model home-like as you can. Refreshing it is going to net you the most. So putting a little bit of money into your home or a little bit of time into your home to stage it, whether you hire a stager to come in and help you rearrange what you already have, or if your house is vacant, staging it with some furniture to make it feel comfortable and people want to be there. Spending a little bit of money can net you quite a bit usually.
I think the takeaway is that, putting the house show ready, market ready, merchandising the house in any market, be it a buyer's market, a seller's market, whatever, you're always going to net more. Now, we're not talking about doing major remodels. We're just making your home, feel like a show home, like a model home. You're going to attract more buyers. The buyers are going to love it that much more. You're going to, doing deferred maintenance is always part of that as well. Making sure you take care of all those little things that you've ignored over the years. I'm guilty, I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just like all of us, right? We have those things that we just kind of let go in our house. But when you take care of all those little things, clean it up, declutter, and potentially move furniture or bring furniture in, it makes a big difference.
So one of the things I love, Tego, is getting a third party professional staging type person in the home to look at it, not just us as realtors,
right?
But somebody who does staging for a living, somebody's got that interior design. We get used to how our house looks, and that punch list that you and I have for our house could be completely different when we get that stager in to give us our punch list of what they think to make our house more appealing. So we certainly have resources for that. We'd be happy to help you with it and get the right
And the
people.
cost actually is, people I think are afraid of the cost, and the cost is actually, there's been
can be very minimal.
A bunch of studies done on it that you always are going to, get that plus more, whatever the cost is.
We have a couple people who will do a consult and just come in and tell you what they see and smell and feel and what things you should do to refresh your home. For $100 or less or $200 or less to come in and give you that information, that can be really helpful. I know for us, if we were putting our house on the market, that'd be one of my first calls, Tego.
Yeah.
Because you and I, we live there.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah.
And it's, we might know that this outlet doesn't work or something, but they're going to look overall at the biggest aesthetics and tell us if your house has an odor that you should take care of, because really all the different senses when somebody walks in your house are pretty important.
And just one last thing on that is a pre-inspection is always a good idea as well. Get a professional home inspector, licensed. They are licensed in New Mexico now. Professional home inspector to come in and just kind of give you the punch list of little things that might come up when you do get it under contract and have that home inspection done.
And that's a good conversation for us to have as your realtor, because there are some homes where we might not suggest a home inspection first. You might not want to have that punch list and all of those things, because you might want to sell your house as is with no repairs, and you want the buyer to do their own due diligence and put their own concerns together. So let's talk about it.
That's a good point. I think it's like so many other things. Is the answer is it depends.
Right.
So get a professional to talk to you about it and take a look.
So what was the buyer question we had this week?
So the buyer question of the week, and this is something that comes up always and forever in real estate. Is Amen.
That's a Randy Travis song or something?
Yeah. Is being pre-qualified or pre-approved. And so in the traditional, real estate, getting a loan process, when you put in an offer on a home, the seller's going to want to see that you are a qualified buyer, meaning either you have cash in the bank or you have a loan that's been, that's ready to go, or you've been pre-approved or pre-qualified. So there's the thing.
difference.
Yeah, the thing that comes up, Tracy, is they're not the same, pre-approved versus pre-qualified. And so let's just talk about that, Tracy. So what does pre-qualified mean?
Pre-qualification is basically saying that the loan application has been made, right? That a credit report has been pulled and reviewed by a lender. That
Actually, you know what? Can I just say I think we need to make this point that a lot of people use the term pre-qualified and pre-approved interchangeably. And in the thing that's interesting in our purchase agreement, it says pre-qualified, but they actually haven't been, there's the pre-approval. So there's very specific criteria, right?
the very specific criteria that our purchase agreement says.
Yeah.
To show that you have a lender who's already reviewed your information and says you're solid is very different, right? A lot of times we get a letter along with an offer and it says, hey, this person's pre-approved. Based on the information the person told us on the phone or whatever, they should qualify for the loan. But they haven't checked their credit score. They haven't verified their employment. They haven't verified their assets, their bank statements, their their tax returns. They're just saying, based on what they told me, they should be able to buy a house for this amount.
Yeah.
So as a home seller, how would you feel, right? If you get this offer and you get a letter from a lender that says, well, they appear to be qualified to buy this house for this amount of money, but I haven't checked anything they told me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Versus being a home seller and you get a letter that says, I've already checked their employment, I've already checked their bank account, I've already looked at their taxes, I've already pulled their credit score, and I feel solid in putting my name on this letter that says they can afford this much house.
Yeah.
Which buyer do you want to go with? The one who's already got the lender who's done all the work ahead of time, or the one who got a phone call and the client said, hey, this is how much I make, and they haven't done any of the due diligence yet.
Yeah. So one of the things, as a buyer is it's actually, if you have a good credit score and, you've got a steady job, it's relatively easy to get one of these letters that say that you're pre-qualified, right? But if you really know that you're going in and you want to be a strong buyer, and you more than likely, maybe there's competition based on the current market conditions, that may be the case. Getting that full pre-approval is a big deal. And the last thing on that is getting a local lender that has a reputation to protect.
Totally.
That does carry a lot of weight.
We had a big crash and burn last week, and it was out of area lender. One of those online, put your information in. And it turns out what they had said they could do wouldn't work at all for this particular buyer. It was one of those where the buyer had gone in online and put in their basic information. It spit out a letter. They went under contract. They prepaid for their appraisal. And they got down the road before that lender actually started doing the verification of everything. And they said, oh, you don't qualify. So the seller's already made plans. They've already hired movers. They've already spent money that they've locked in. The buyer's out inspection money and appraisal costs. So they're already out about $1,500 or more. And, it's just not good. You need that local person to talk to that can really look at your situation.
Yeah.
So I had a house listed recently, about 3 weeks ago. We went active and we got offers the first weekend and went under contract. But it was interesting to me because we had multiple offers on the property to read the different lender letters that came with the offers. And there was the online people you see on TV all the time, do it online. We've got an app and blah, blah, and it's so simple to get money. Versus local, versus the letter that said, we've already reviewed everything. We've already looked at it. this person's already been on our system for 30 days or more. We've already checked taxes. We've already looked at the bank statements. That person is who got the house. There was a lot of, it's not just who's going to offer the most money. It's who's going to really be able to follow through on the contract.
Yeah, who's actually going to, bring this thing all the way to closing. Yes,
right,
yes.
right.
And just so people know, about 25 to 30% of homes that do go under contract or go pending end up falling out for whatever reason. Many times it's through the repair inspection and kind of repair negotiations, and many times it's the lender piece. Those are the two big reasons. Appraisals have been challenging to say the least in the last year or so, just because of the way prices have been. So yeah, just some really good tips there, I think, for buyers, is to be a strong, qualified buyer, ready to go and put your best foot forward.
Right. So Tego, we had this, we have very often people call us and they want help finding a house, but they have this fear of being sold something, right? It's like they call and they want help, but they don't want to tell us too much, right? And it's like they have this fear of being sold. I think about, when I walk into a store and if the salesperson says to me, can I help you? I always go, no. But if they say, what brought you in today? I go, oh, well, I'm looking for jeans or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Versus, just the whole approach. But for us, when people call us because they need real estate help, we can't sell them something they don't want to buy, right? I'm not going to be able to talk someone into a house that's not the right house for them. So the more information we can get from those clients, the better, to better serve them and help them get the right property, right?
Yeah.
So it's a hard place to be, because a lot of people call, they don't know what to say. They haven't bought a house, or they haven't bought a house in a long time. And it's scary, right?
Oh, big time.
Yeah. But call us, let's sit down, let's talk about the process. Let's help you with that lending piece if you need a lender. And if you're cash, let's get that paperwork together to show that you have cash available, and we can help you with that. So I just want to say something on that, Tracy, because there's so many things we think about. You and I have been doing this a long time now, right? And we've seen thousands of home sales over the years, and there's so many little things that you just don't know, and it's that whole saying, you don't know what you don't know, right? And then suddenly, if you're buying a house or selling a house, all of a sudden there's all these things you just don't understand, and don't be afraid to ask the questions, right?
Speaking
of, best way to get a hold of us?
Oh yeah. Visit our website, welcomehomeabq.com. You can send us a message there, or call us at 505-448-8888.
So let's talk about careers in real estate.
Yeah.
This is sort of self-serving, because Venturi Realty Group, we need more salespeople. We have more buyers and sellers that want help. Then we're all stretched. We're all working like the appraisers these days.
Wait, no, don't say that, because then people won't call us. We're too busy.
No, we're taking care of everybody, but we have opportunities with our team. So if you're in real estate already and you want to talk about a career with us, give me a ring. If you're not in real estate, but you've always thought about it, I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you about it and the pros and cons, because honestly, I talk more people out of a career in real estate than I talk into it.
You're not a really good real estate recruiter. And, and it's interesting. Let's do a little inside, what do they say, inside baseball, talk here. Because a lot of, the real estate companies, brokerages, they are recruiting machines. They usually have somebody on staff at the brokerage that their job is to recruit, and it's they're just trying to get people, and that's great. I mean, that's what they do, but sometimes you may not get the whole story, and you may not, it is a challenging business for sure.
It is. When I think back to all of the family gatherings and birthday parties and holiday gatherings that I might have missed because I was working with clients, I have missed quite a bit. But on the other hand, a lot of times I've been able to schedule myself to go on those field trips with our kids, or we've been able to go to Mexico for a week and have people on the team that cover for us, right? It's a really rewarding career if you really love what you do passionately for others, because a lot of times our schedule is not our own. And that's where I say I talk people out of real estate more than into it, probably because I really lay it out there and I'm like, here's the pros, here's the cons. And if the cons seem like they won't work for you, don't do it, because it's not like you just get a license and everybody you know knows you're in real estate and they all flock to you, right? What a lot of people don't realize is if you don't have anybody that's going to buy or sell with you, you don't have anything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, yeah, if you know, that's a long conversation, and that's why if somebody is interested, they should reach out to you, Tracy. Do you want to give out your cell phone number? Well,
Yeah,
they
sure.
can find it online. But
Yeah, all you have to do is Google me, but it's 263-2526. Give me a text or a call. I'd be happy to chat with you about it. So we had decided we were going to highlight an area or something that makes Albuquerque special. So when we have people relocating to our area, a lot of times we need to find out what's important to them, and so that we can point out some of the area attractions. One of the things...
Yeah, well, you know, in what we've been doing, Tracy, we've been kind of highlighting a neighborhood, right?
Right.
We've been, you know, doing that recently. We talked about the North Valley, and this kind of ties in with the North Valley because it's part of the North Valley.
It's not just the North Valley.
Yeah,
we're talking about the Paseo del Bosque Trail along the Rio Grande.
Yep.
And it runs from the Alameda Bridge,
which is right up the street from our office.
Yeah, I'm like pointing, like
Yeah,
you can see where
it's
where
right
it is.
there. Yep.
Right there, paved trail next to the river as well as dirt path, all the way through the South Valley. Somebody once told me it was about a 35-mile.
Well, it's 16
path.
miles, so it's
16?
round trip you can do.
Ah.
It's 32 miles. I used to do that on my
I
bike
know,
when
I
I
know
used
you
to
did.
ride my bike. I'd leave from here and go all the way down, goes all the way past down.
Past the aquarium and the biopark.
Yep,
Yeah.
all the way past Rio Bravo, and then kind of does a loop, and then you know, you can come back. But it really is a gem in Albuquerque, and you know, we see it over here at Alameda and the river every weekend. Those, you know, that parking lot is just overflowing, and the thing that's really great about it is you have the paved path where people can bike or walk or rollerblade or whatever device they have. But there's also the ditches along the acequias where people on horses can ride and enjoy that as well. So it's a really special thing that we have here in Albuquerque.
There's only a few places in the city where you can really get to the river. So you can get to the river in Bernalillo, in River's Edge in Rio Rancho. There's some paths that you can get to the water. But otherwise, along the valley, there's only certain places where there's actually parking lots and access to get across the ditches and down into the river valley and to the water. So, you know, looking at the Paseo del Bosque Trail, you can get on the city's website and it'll tell you all the access points. We used to get on it at the end of Campbell Road because we used to live in Rio Grande Compound,
Yep.
which is sort of funny because Rio Grande Compound is very little yards, and we had like 5 dogs when you and I got together. Oh, between us, we had 4 dogs, right?
Yeah, yes.
And we had a minute little yard in by Rio Grande. But anyway, Campbell Road is one of them. By the Nature Center, you can get down there, and they have viewing areas at the Nature Center off of Candelaria. So that's some of the areas. And one of the beautiful things, you know, with COVID, one of the things that I've noticed, Tego, is a lot more people have discovered the river. We see people with kayaks and canoes or nothing, just bringing a shade structure and hanging out along the banks of the water. I love that. When I go over the Alameda Bridge, I always like put my car on autopilot. Not that it's full auto, but just so I can look and see how many people are out playing in the water. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, you know, the Rio Grande is a special thing that we have here in Albuquerque, and get out and enjoy it.
Really is. So there are some open houses this weekend. Get on our website, welcomehomeabq.com, to check that out. We've got all open houses that are listed in the multiple listing service there, not just the ones listed by Venturi Realty Group. I've seen some really beautiful luxury homes that are going to be open this weekend, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I saw that one in Corrales. It looks spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Venturi Realty Group with Keller Williams Realty here in Albuquerque, and you can reach us at our website at welcomehomeabq.com or call us at 505-448-8888. So I just wanted to jump to one other thing real quick here while we're waiting for Eddie to jump back in here. The home prices, I'm going to go back to market stats.
Great. Start there and end there.
Yeah. Home prices have definitely climbed substantially over the last year. We're probably appreciating somewhere around 14-15% in our market, which is very strong, and some people would say unhealthy strong, but it's actually less than a lot of other markets. So I kind of like that.
Right.
We have seen prices plateau here in the last few months, and like I said earlier, that's very common this time of year, where we see a big run up in and not a big, but the jump in appreciation usually goes through the summer, and then it'll plateau this time of year, which it is. We're not talking big difference, but it's interesting. So people that are thinking to sell, just like we talked about earlier, prices are at all-time highs right now for the Albuquerque market area.
You know what's interesting, though, and I know you don't have the chart pulled up, but if you look at 20 to 30 years of home prices on a chart with the typical 3 to 4% every year increase, and you go back to 2007, 2008 when it dropped way down, and then we didn't have that 3 to 4% for many years, we are actually still just in line or still slightly below where home prices would be on that line. And that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people because you can't visualize it. But
yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. We are.
If we wouldn't have had that, we probably would be at higher prices right now.
Yeah, I think another way to say that, or kind of taking off of that, is that Albuquerque from 2012 till today has not appreciated as fast as a lot of the other markets.
There you go.
Right, and so that's healthy, because this unhealthy 15% price appreciation is something that just can't it can't be sustained, and it does appear that it's starting. The pace of appreciation will be slowing down, which is good. I'm not saying that prices are going to go backwards. It doesn't look that way, but but forecasting what the market's going to do is can also be pretty futile. So I want to be really careful. There was a big story in real estate this week about Zillow, who was doing some stuff where they would buy homes and then resell them right away. Well, they got ahead of themselves and they overpaid for some homes, and they've stopped doing that practice. It wasn't happening in Albuquerque, but it was happening in other markets. So, it's difficult to predict the housing market, and I think a big company like Zillow not figuring that out the hard way just proves that it's very specific to the home, the neighborhood, the side of the street that it's on. Everything.
Be local.
Be local.
Thanks, Eddie. Always happy to be here.
Thank you both for being here and helping everybody out in the Kiva and across the market. AM 600 KIV, ABQ.FM. Don't forget to call Tego and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. 505-448-8888.